got Ashish, Small People, Big Change. How are you feeling?
Jet lagged.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, you can start now.
How many of you are parents? Raise your hand if you're parents. Okay, I want to tell you a story before I got here. I have a 9-year-old who said to me, I want to run for student council president for his school because he wanted to stop bullying. This is important because this same 9-year-old has seen the world through adaptive travel, seen the world and experiences that are family-friendly, not family-tolerant. He has seen what inner city poverty in Nicaragua looks like. He has seen poaching firsthand. And as a matter of fact, his friends were on Skype talking to a hunter who was about to go hunt a rhino in Namibia, trying to talk him out of going. That's the whole point of what small people and big change means. It's about empowering children. Psychologists all over the world agree that children between the ages of 5 and 15 have the ability to endure more stress, to endure more challenge, and cultivate more change than any adult has done. And yet, we're handing them iPads and earphones and telling them to pacify themselves and entertain themselves. Think about this. You're on travel, and you're traveling with your family when you're their age, and your parents may have handed you a coloring book. It clearly didn't work because you're all sitting here right now. So if it didn't work for us, why would it work for them? The idea is that we must empower our children. We cannot paint a utopian view of the world and say, here, the world's perfect. We have to tell them that we are losing more animals to poachers than ever before. We have to tell them that we are eradicating more indigenous cultures than ever before. We have to tell them our climate is as fragile as it ever has been. And then say, how would you solve it? Take a look, empower them. It should not be a case of children being along for the ride. It should be a case of children actually leading the ride. This concept of small people, big change has a picture. It has a picture of where students become teachers. It has a picture of where, in this case, a 9-year-old starts telling you that he wants to be a scientist because he wants to save species. It's about your children telling you how they would change the world. It's about taking away the fact that when you're designing your trips, you cannot use a one-size-fits-all. Your clothes don't fit one-size-fits-all. Some may. But the idea being that if it's not a one-size-fits-all, why is your travel that way? Your travel has to be adapted. It has to be adapted one age at a time. It has to be adapted where no matter where you're going, you are explaining to your children. And if you're designing trips for families, you are explaining to those families, tell me why you're taking this trip with your children. Small people can create a huge change. Ignorance is one thing. Innocence is bliss. And the idea being that children of this age can change the world because they have an optimistic view of the world as it is. They believe they can create this change. They believe that they can actually make a difference. You just have to give them a chance. You have to empower them. You have to then let them discover for themselves and then challenge them and ask them and hold them accountable. This concept has a face. They are my friends Olivia and Carter Reese. They are the founders of One More Generation. They started this foundation when they're 7 and 8 years old after a life-changing trip to South Africa. Today, they just gave their first TED Talk and won a conservation prize from the White House. Thank you.
Thanks, Ashish.